Often get the question, what is a good collaboration tool for an international team? Advertising agency, a consultancy, NGO, working in a team is the question. I have 4 things I think that can improve that. I will use the example from an organization that I know very well, Entrepreneurs Organization, EO, because I'm a member myself for 9 years, for the last 9 years.
Where's the I found it.
Very different cultures, very different personalities. You can use that right away. As I said, no matter if you're 3 people in a small team or 30,000 people on a large scale. And, we will do that on the road, on the way to the office. So let me quickly explain that organization to you, because it's important to understand in order to compare it with your organization. 12,000 members. These members are entrepreneurs and they are organized in chapters. We have a chapter here in Hamburg with like 120 something people. There are other chapters in like New York, Dallas, Tokyo, Mumbai, Zurich, Amsterdam. There are a lot of EO chapters out there. And in order to keep everyone together, there is a part of the organization that is called global staff. People who are full-time working for that organization. There are many cultures in there. There are many different opinions in there. How do you make everyone work together? The staff and the member leaders, they collaborate. So they collaborate, they collaborate, and they collaborate. The challenge is, it's around the globe. 4 things you can do to like make that kind of organization work. Number 1 is kill the ego. What do I mean by that? Ego to me is everything that is politics related, everything that is a hidden agenda, and we say it this way and we do it that way, complaining about decisions in the organization. You have that in every organization. So ego is something you completely have to take out of that equation, which is almost impossible, because if you think of the typical communication ways from asynchronous communication to synchronous communication, you remember, if you know my videos or I link it below, that the more emotional the topic, the more synchronous the communication. So whenever there is ego or politics or a hidden agenda there and I read something between the lines, I have to talk to that person. And I'm an EO member for 9 years, and it's only last year that I was in Washington meeting most of the global staff members. So, hello. Hi. One more. Now I met some of the people. Now it's far easier to use a asynchronous communication way and tell them, this is how I say it, this is how I mean it, and don't get me wrong. What can I do in order to say it in a better way that the other person understands it in a better way? It's not about they don't understand me, it's about how do I say it in the right way. And there is a test from Sally Hogshead, how to fascinate. It's not called how to communicate, it's called how to fascinate. And what you do is you analyze what is your preferred way of communicating. And this tells you for your team what is your communication type. And this is very helpful to avoid misunderstandings. So the second thing is, it's not about the ideas people bring to the organization, it's about the execution. Casey Neistat, who I interviewed last week, and he said it's not about the ideas, it's about the process. Very similar in leading such an organization. There are so many ideas how you can improve stuff, and then people come up and say, I think we should do this event, we should increase the dues, or we shouldn't increase the dues. There's a lot of ideas, and usually related to stuff that people don't like, that they want to improve. And then comes the question, do you want to do that? It's about the execution, and this is what a global staff team, for example, is very helpful. Otherwise, you just ping pong ideas back and forth, and you won't move the organization anywhere. I would say the best tool for applying execution to an organization in that case is rhythm. And there's a great book from Vern Harnish. He's also an EO member. It's called The Rockefeller Habits, oldie but goodie. It's one of the books I would definitely put on my top 10 book list because it explains how you apply rhythm to a company. And you can imagine this rhythm is like an engine. The more frequent the rhythm, the smoother the engine runs. So this is how you can see it. Very, very good thing. Now we come to the question, what is a great communication tool in such an organization? And from my experience, we have on an international level only email, which is an international way of communication. I mean, in China you have WeChat, in the US you have email and a lot of Slack. In Europe you have a lot of WhatsApp, Slack and emails. It's mixed. There is not one single major communication channel on a global scale. Email is definitely the biggest communication tool. If you come to events though, I would recommend using something like a WhatsApp group to like collaborate faster. Why is that a good thing? Some people say like, oh, that's too much communication, I cannot have all the notifications. I mean, okay, then switch it off, like mute it, whatever. It helps you to stay on top of things and to stay informed about things in a very fast way. And much more informal than email, which is always like very the subject line, the attachment, the footer. Every email looks different and I don't know, it just doesn't feel natural to communicate that way. So accept the fact that email is there as the major communication tool, but whenever it comes to execution, use something that is faster like WhatsApp or Slack, for example, in order to keep everyone together. Keep it easy. That's what I learned in order to keep people tied together. And remember, the more emotional the topic, the more synchronous. If you have an emotional topic, get on the phone and call the person. And the last thing is about like the actual content and concept collaboration. And what I see here is again connected to politics and then email. So what usually happens is, oh, I'm used to it. I take my Word document on my very pretty PowerPoint and attach it to the email and then send it out to everyone so that they can give me feedback. That's an issue for any global organization. So at EO, what we try to establish, and not every chapter has that yet, we try to use tools like Drive and then Docs, Slides, Sheets. You always know which is the last version. In these organizations, you never work at the same time. If you're working on a global scale, you never technically can work at the same time. So if you ask a person, is that the correct version, and he or she is asleep, and then answers you 6 hours later, this is a latency you cannot work with. Documents with real-time collaboration are so important. Google is the easiest one to apply there. Office 365 is also very easy to apply. Whatever you decide, make sure that people don't send attachments via email within that organization. Kill the ego, put everything on execution, make sure you separate between what do we need globally for communication and then apply a communication channel that is fast, and then use content and concept collaboration in real time with shared documents. That's what I wanted to share. I hope that was helpful to you. Thanks for watching. I see you next week.